Hi friends, it's me, Jetpack. I know it's been a while, but I thought it was about time to make another video. And, people in my normal life, they often tell me, Jetpack, you are always working so hard. You do everything, all of the things, all the time. Do you ever rest? Maybe you should slow down. And you know what? I think they're right. I really do a lot, all of the time. And, I think we all need to take a step back and just lie down. And so that's why I'm here. Right now. I decided that it's time to, just treat myself a little bit by doing nothing and talking to you guys. So here I am, and I was thinking, what should I make this comeback video about? And I was thinking, it's March 2020, and people are getting sick. We've almost had World War III. So much has happened. What could I possibly contribute in this point of time? The only thing I could think of is looking back at last year and all of my favorite things, because that is what's currently relevant to everyone. So, typically, I write all of the things down when I make a video. But today, I decided that I would just leave it to these little pieces of paper that have just like little notes. So we're going completely off the rails here. So first of all, one of my favorite things of 2020. Oh, and I should keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. And I also said 2020. I meant 2019. Just ignore that. One of the things I want to do with this video is just keep it really low key, super low key. Nothing flashy. It's just me. Just laying down. So keep that in mind. The first thing on my list of 2019's favorite things would be the gravity blanket. And currently, it's not this one, but underneath this one, I have a 25-pound gravity blanket. And it is amazing. I kind of wish, here's the only thing, I kind of wish it was heavier. I know 25 pounds is a lot, but I wish it was even more. And I remember when I first told my friends that I was getting a 25-pound blanket, they were all like, wow, that's like really heavy. But again, I wish it was heavier. Though, keep in mind that one of the first nights I had this, I threw it, like I was tucking myself into bed, and I tried to, like, the blanket was all bunched up, so I tried to throw it over my feet, and I definitely, like, pulled my wrist when I did that. And so, that was a lesson learned. I also woke up a couple of times with, like, my arms numb, but I think that was unrelated to the gravity blanket and nothing that needs to be worried about. So, gravity blanket, awesome. Highly recommend. If you've been wanting one, try it out. Get one. The next thing I want to talk about are some of the best movies and TV shows and media that were great last year. Probably one of my, I actually didn't, keep this in mind, I actually didn't watch a lot of movies and stuff last year. I kind of just kind of decided not to. But there were a few great things. One of which is the movie Jojo Rabbit, which you may have heard of. It was nominated for a bunch of awards. I think it won just a couple. But it's made by director Taika Waititi. Also, side note, my beard's gotten longer, and it may be brushing up against the mic, and if so, I apologize. There's not really much I can do right now. But anyway, Jojo Rabbit, Taika Waititi, director, so great. I knew going into it that it was going to be funny, because that's kind of what he's known for. But it was like this great mix of humor and thoughtfulness, based on the like setting of the movie, which is Nazi Germany, and it's about a kid who has an imaginary best friend, Adolf Hitler, and it's just, I mean, I should probably just leave you on that, but it is just so well done. Highly recommend. Give it a watch if you haven't. Please watch it. Of course, I can't forget Endgame, which was just so good. And I think a great, like, end to, or not an end. It's an ellipsis. Ellipses? Yes, to this current point in the Marvel saga. Just loved it. There was so much, and I think every time I watch it, I start tearing up at certain parts, regardless of how many times I've watched it. It's just so well done. It's perfect. I loved it. The Expanse Season 4. If you haven't watched The Expanse before, I highly recommend. It's a sci-fi action adventure show. Not really quite sure. There's like a lot of like political stuff, and it's just very well done. I've never seen, I think, a sci-fi show quite like it. I would say it's very different from like Star Wars and Star Trek and that type of stuff that you would maybe compare any kind of like outer space show to, but it's fantastic. Season 4 came out on Amazon Prime, and before it was just on Sci-Fi, but now they have moved everything to Amazon Prime. And so you can, if you have Amazon Prime, you haven't watched The Expanse, you can start from season 1 on there. So you should do that. Let's see. Okay, so that was kind of it for 2019. But looking ahead for 2020, I am looking forward to Black Widow. I'm excited that Chief Hopper from Stranger Things, his name is escaping me, David something. Yes, I can't remember his last name right now. Didn't look it up. Did not prepare for this at all. Just David. David's in it, and he's a great actor, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do, especially considering the end of Endgame. Wondering how this, like, I'm sure there will be some kind of tie-in to the future of the Marvel Universe, because I can't see, they don't really do just like, hey, this is a blank standalone, and, you know, this will have no effect on anything whatsoever. So I'm curious. I am excited for the Marvel Disney Plus shows. I don't have Disney Plus at this point. I'm really only looking forward to the Marvel stuff on there. There's the what is it? Bucky and Falcon. The Falcon and Bucky show, or the Winter Soldier. That'll be pretty good. That's probably one that I'm like not super like invested in. I know there's like there's like an animated Marvel show that's going to be coming called What If. There's also Loki, which could be interesting. The one that I'm probably the most looking forward to is the Scarlet Witch show, which is called WandaVision, because it looks so weird, and I think it's going to be just so intriguing, and like I've been really wanting them to dive into her character a bit more, and kind of the just kind of like the crazy parts of her story, because spoiler alert if you don't know, in the comics, Wanda, Scarlet Witch, her abilities are based in reality-altering magic. And every time she uses it, like anytime she throws those little like red bolts or whatever, she's technically altering reality when she uses them. And in the comics, the way it plays out is every time she kind of uses her abilities, and especially if it's like strenuous stuff, she actually slowly starts to lose her grip on reality. And I think this is 100% what they're going towards here. And I also am curious because I believe they said that Scarlet Witch is going to be in the next Doctor Strange movie, and I'm curious to see how, is this going to lead directly into that? Is he going to show up at any point? I mean, it seems like the first episode of WandaVision takes place in the 1950s, and it's WandaVision is also some kind of like sitcom show, and just the small teaser that they showed makes it look like maybe each episode is going to be like a different decade of sitcom. Or hey, maybe that teaser is just like all in one episode, and that's going to be super weird. But anyway, I'm just excited. I think it's going to be weird. I think it's going to be great. I'm excited. I can't remember what else is coming out on Disney Plus, but speeding things up a little bit, Fargo, the next season of Fargo is going to come out. It was recently delayed because of like all of this coronavirus stuff, but it's still coming out this year, I believe. Marvel's Eternals is coming out later this year. Should be really interesting. There are some great actors in it, and I'm curious to see how they're really going to like kick off this next, phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then Dune is coming out later this year as well, potentially. Director is Denis Villeneuve, I think. That's the way you might say it. Somebody who is really bad at pronouncing people's names would probably say it like that. But he did Arrival and some other stuff that I can't remember right now. But he's really good at what he does. And I don't know, I think a remake of Dune is, should have probably come a lot sooner, but I think this will be very interesting, and I'm excited to see it. So that's movies for 2019 and what I'm looking forward to for 2020. Next, let's talk about some video games, because I like video games. So, one of the best video games that I have played this year is a game called Control. And my friends would probably know that I have mentioned it multiple times because I love it so much and I talk about it a lot. But I'm forgetting who is the publisher. Not going to remember it. Remedy, maybe. That's probably wrong. I don't know what Remedy has done. Did I make that up? I think I did. Anyway, Control. You play as this woman named Jess, and she is, or Jessie Faden, and she has been looking for her brother since she lost him, kind of like when they were kids. Something happened when they were kids, and she ends up with telekinetic abilities. And so part of the reason why I love this game is that it kind of feels like you're playing Jean Grey. Like, you keep, as you advance through the game, your powers grow, and, first you just start off by, like, being able to throw, like, smaller things, and then all of a sudden you're, like, flying through the air and blowing things up. You also get this really cool, like, gun, and it is such a weird story, but the storytelling is just so good. There is one sequence in the game that I won't spoil, but it is probably one of the coolest and most fun experiences I've had in a video game before. Like, it was just fantastic. But they really did a lot of, like, world building in the game. There's a lot of, like, documents you find while you're exploring the Federal Bureau of Control, I think is what it's called. It's like this hidden government agency that she's exploring to find her brother. But scattered throughout are all these different, like, documents you can find. And There's so much you can read, just like as you find these things, and honestly, I pretty much stopped and read everything I found. So it took me a while to beat the game, but the world building was so good. And here's one thing. So when they showed the trailer originally last year, I think it was, I thought, oh man, this looks like a really fun action game. Here's the thing. It's also very scary, or scary for me. I don't really do scary stuff very well, but there were so many times that this also is probably the reason why it took me a long time, is I would just slowly walk through each room, just waiting for enemies to kind of like pop out and start attacking you. And there's just like, they create this atmosphere that's so scary. And you feel so small and helpless, even though you have these telekinetic abilities. I felt, while playing it, I felt very small and helpless. But towards the end, once you have like all of your stuff upgraded, it is much easier to feel like, okay, I'm in control now, and I can actually fight against a lot of these things. But anyway, it's very good. Highly recommend. Another game that I probably put more time in is a little game called Apex Legends. It is the first battle royale I've played, and keep this in mind, I am extraordinarily mediocre at this game. But I find it to be just so much fun. Like I said, not super good, but I really like some of the world building they've done. I like the characters. I think what sets it apart for me from like maybe any other battle royale that's out there is I really like how each legend has a different set of abilities. Like to me, it almost is like superpowers, even though a lot of their stuff are like artillery fire and whatever. It's just cool that each character has their own unique set of abilities. Personally, and much to the disappointment of some of my friends that I play with, I love one of the characters named Mirage. He is arguably the best character in the game. Just it's hard for some people to admit that that's the case. And I think probably my top 3 characters would be Mirage, Caustic, and Octane. Mirage can like send out decoys and go invisible. Caustic throws out this toxic gas stuff. It's pretty cool. And then like Octane is just like a, junkie, I guess. But anyway, it's pretty fun. And it's been pretty cool also because I've been able to kind of reconnect with some friends of mine from back in Memphis who all play. Actually, for Christmas, I sent some of my friends like esports jersey shirts that have like the Apex logo and their username in the back, and like whoever they main, I put like a symbol in the Apex logo of that character, as well as I got like a Funko Pop of it. But anyway, really enjoy that game. Where does my list go? Nintendo Switch game, Luigis Mansion. So good. I think it's the 3rd one. It's super fun. Haven't finished it yet, but I probably will soon. Maybe not. But so good. It's very nostalgic. I hadn't played there was like a second one I think that came out on 3DS maybe. Never played it, but so much fun. There's co-op, which I haven't been able to use this go around, but highly recommend if you're looking for an old nostalgia feel. But it's not just the nostalgia that makes it good. Like there is actually a lot of like clever puzzles, and I think they've improved on a lot of the things, at least from the first one. So highly recommend. Probably one of my favorite. Oops, sorry. I think I maybe bumped the mic. Anyway, one of my favorite indie games of 2019 was a game called Kitana Zero. The soundtrack, amazing. Reminds me a lot of Hotline Miami, if you ever played that. It's kind of this like synth wave feel, retro 80s neon lights. But it's like a 2D side scroller, but you play like this retired soldier in this fictional Earth that is like a samurai. And you just go around and, you just kill people, basically, but there's a storyline to it that I loved. Like, it's just very, very well thought out. I think a lot of people don't really consider indies when they're looking at, like, video games to play. But it's a lot of fun. If you have whoa, slow down, JP. If you have a Nintendo Switch and you are looking for a fun indie game that's kind of challenging, Kitana Zero. There's like a free update that's coming soon that's going to add like way more content that they were even planning on originally, but highly recommend. Also, Control, that I mentioned a while back. Lots of updates. And I think one of the last ones is coming out at the end of this month, in March. So, looking forward to 2020. Number one, so excited for this game. Comes out in just a couple of days from when I'm recording this. But Animal Crossing New Horizons. I love Animal Crossing. I have played, I think, everyone except for Wild World, something like that. One of the early ones on like the DS. But love it so much. I remember spending so many hours playing it on the GameCube. I would like wake up early before school to play. And then like what's cool about Animal Crossing is like there's a lot of customization and it's a super relaxing game. Like there's almost, you kind of create your own objectives. There's like, I don't know, it's kind of neat. What's cool is that for one, you're on like a 24-hour clock timeline, and so like there are certain things that only happen at certain times of the day, or like there are shops that will close at like certain times, and so like if you are if it's like you're playing at 6 p.m. at night, it's 6 p.m. in the game, and you know you might miss your window of time for certain things. This game, it seems like they're adding so much with like crafting and just being able to really just giving you more control over your island in this case. But it's just like, I love it, I think, because it's a way to kind of like just calm down and kind of just like, you know, just do something real chill for a while. The music is also fantastic. And yeah, the last game, New Leaf, came out like so long ago. And this will be the first one since. And so I'm excited. I'm really excited. The one thing is that I'm kind of hoping that like with all these stores closing and like I don't know, there's just a lot happening right now. There's a part of me that selfishly is like, okay, Best Buy, I've pre-ordered my game at Best Buy. Like, please just stay open till Friday so that I can pick up my pre-order and then I'll be good. I like having like physical cartridges, and so I'm waiting for that. I guess I could buy it digitally if something bad happens, but I don't know. I'm also looking forward to the Final Fantasy VII Remake. For those of you who have played it, there's really no explanation needed, but it is probably one of our greatest video games of our generation. The first one, the original, and it's actually, side note, not my favorite Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite, but 7 is just a classic, and I'm excited to see what they're updating, what they're adding. It looks like the remake is going to take over, I think, 3 different releases. Like, this first one that's releasing is only like the first third of the game or something. So I'm just really excited because the little bits that I've seen have just been great. And if you know me, one of the things that I've started doing is like, once I'm pretty committed to like, okay, I know this is going to be great, I have as much base information that I want, I kind of stop watching trailers and reading articles about it and stuff. And so like the demo for Final Fantasy VII came out, but I actually haven't played it because I just kind of want to, when I get the game, I just want to, just go in kind of fresh, I guess. Cyberpunk 2077 comes out later this year. I think that's going to be just a fun, like, it's going to be one of the few games I think on this list and of games I'm looking forward to that are just more open world. But I kind of love like cyberpunk stuff and noir, and I think it's going to kind of scratch that itch a lot. So anyway, Cyberpunk 2077, The Last of Us 2. The Last of Us was such a fantastic game. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the story progresses from here. There's a lot of things I'm kind of unsure about. Like, the first one was just so good that I'm kind of like, I don't know, I almost kind of doubt that it's going to be able to be even better, but we'll see. We'll see. And really, one of the things that I'm looking forward to the most is just information on the PlayStation 5, because I'm sure that's going to happen soon. I know Sony wasn't planning on being on at E3, but with E3 canceling and like all sort of stuff, I wonder if we're going to get more information soon or not. I don't know. PlayStation 5, I'll be picking it up whenever it comes out. So that's kind of video game stuff. Let's talk about music, because I listen to a little bit of music every once in a while. This year was kind of different, I guess. I kind of listened to a lot of the same stuff, but not all of the same stuff. There's some new stuff. And so I guess to start off, I would say I listened to quite a bit of Billie Eilish this past year. And you know what? She's actually pretty good. And I kind of had listened to one of her songs like a while back, but I kind of just didn't even think about it at all. Like, it took me a while to then realize, like, oh, that's Billie Eilish. I listened to Ocean Eyes, but I listened to it a few times and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But never really, like, connected the fact that Ocean Eyes was a Billie Eilish song. But anyway, so yeah, she's pretty good. I would say if you haven't listened to her at all, you pretty much can't go wrong with any song that has a music video, I think. I think that's actually, people that know me know that I love music videos in particular. Like, I almost like them more than just the music themselves. I love seeing how an artist wants to depict their song. Like, the 90s was very not very creative. Like, a lot of them are very similar, very just usually like, you know, a band playing in a club or in a garage. Or you know, whatever. It's like they only every once in a while would you find like a really weird, kind of out there, really cool, creative music video. But I'm still interested in even some of the bad ones. But anyway, her music video's fantastic. So weird, so creative, but all typically very telling of what she's wanting to communicate through that song. And so I actually kind of rediscovered her through watching music videos. Probably my three favorite songs of hers are probably Bellyache. I think it's one of her more different songs from what she does, but love it. So good. Probably next would be You Should See Me in a Crown. Music video, fantastic. And it's so good. It's such a good song. And I love that it's You Should See Me in a Crown is a reference to the show Sherlock. And I think that's cool. And then another one of her songs that's really good is I Don't Want to Be You Anymore. Or is it just I Don't Want to Be You? I don't know. It's one of those. And it's different. It's heartfelt. It's I don't know. It's just very good. But there's even like, as I was putting this together, I was thinking, and I was like, man, there's just it's hard for me to narrow it down. If you're looking for other recommendations, I mean, like Zanny is really good, and I don't know. I even think Bury a Friend is good too. Like the music video is just very creative, and like the shots are just very well done. Hostage is good. Anyway, I feel like if you watch one of the music videos, probably couldn't go wrong. I'm not really a big fan of Bad Guy. I don't think it's like as good of a song, but whatever. Now here's kind of a hot take though. I actually think that I kind of like, Billie Eilish, her brother is one of the members of her band. They produce music together. He writes a lot of her songs and she sings them. But he has his own stuff, and I kind of like his stuff maybe just a little bit better. It's very different, but still like very genuine and authentic. And yeah, I think they're very good. But so his name is Phineas, and I think his most well-known song is called "I Lost a Friend," and it's just so good. And I think you know, there isn't a lot of songs that are kind of evoking that kind of emotion that he's kind of going through in that song, and I don't know, I kind of liked it. And "Lost My Mind" is also a really good song of his. He doesn't have as big of a music library as Billy does, but I don't know, I'm looking forward to see what he does. I think that guy's going places. So then, one of my favorite bands, probably of all time, is a band called Anamanaguchi. They are a chiptune band. Chiptune, I don't really know how to describe, but it kind of sounds a lot like video game music, like old video game music. But they had an album that came out 7 years ago called Endless Fantasy, and I have listened to it so many times. Actually, the title track for Endless Fantasy, I listen to at the beginning of the year, every year. It's usually the first song I listen to, because I think it's just so good. But they came out with their first album, well, no, I take it back. They came out with like a concept album in between, but one of their like major releases is a new album called USA, and it's so good. There's a single called Air Online, and it's just like, it's perfect. Their band is probably like one of the bands that I think describes me the most. Like it's hard for me to find a band that fits that well. But I know it's not for everybody, but I love it. Now, don't get me wrong. I know this is like a weird, I feel like this is going to be a weird note for everyone. Because I even didn't really see myself ever really liking a band like this, but I guess I had never given it a try. But I, for the first time, have been listening to K-pop, which it's not very like me, I don't think. But I came across this K-pop band through I was playing this game called League of Legends, and they did a special skin line that was kind of like a all of the it was like themed around a K-pop band or like a pop band, and they actually included actual musical artists to sing a song and whatever. One of these, or two of these artists were from the same K-pop group, and so I looked them up, and the group is called G-Idol, and they are really good. I think I listened to a couple of their songs, and I was like, oh no, I like K-pop. This is what? I was not expecting this. I was just more like, oh, I want to know what they do, and like I think the first song I listened to of theirs was a song called La Tata, and it's so good. it's just perfect. I don't know. It's like a perfect poppy song. I know zero Korean, and so I just kind of like try to sing along, but it's not. Every once in a while, there's like an English word, and I'll be able to really like chime in on that note. But aside from that, but there is a song that I feel like most people would like, and it has an excellent music video that I recommend. But the song is called Lion. And I feel like it's a great, if you wanted to get a taste for who they are, it's like, that would be a great song to listen to. The music video is so well shot and so well done. Like, for just very artsy, I guess. But the song itself is good. Their group has like a main rapper also, and she does a really good job on that song as well. I think she also produces most of their music. But anyway, if you want to give it a shot, it's there. You don't have to, but maybe give it a listen. Maybe give it a listen. You might like it. But really, apart from that, I just mostly listen to a lot of like lo-fi, chill beats to study to. Which I had been listening to like in 2018 as well. So that didn't really change, but I actually put together a Spotify playlist, my top 20 of 2019. And so if you want to listen to it, you can go to a link that it'll take you to the Spotify that I have made. And most of the songs I talked about today are there, and then there's a bunch more. And so I recommend to go do that. And yeah. So another thing that I will talk about is one of my favorite things. Moving away from music is probably one of the best. Kind of like, I don't know how to describe it, but I think it would be like a creator published comic book, but it is a comic book called Untold, and it is very well done. The art, first of all, let's talk about just it aesthetically first. Aesthetically, fantastic. The covers are great. Usually when I pick up a comic book, what attracts me to it is the cover, if I'm not like already reading a series. But the covers are great. The inside art, fantastic. And the storyline is also great. If anybody is interested in like fantasy / Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe how like that would mix into, I don't know, just not your typical fantasy setting. It's what I highly recommend it. It's like I would say it's very different from any kind of like fantasy story you may be reading if you read fantasy stuff. But the characters are great. It's very well written. And I think what's cool is that I've been able to chat with the creator a few times. His name is Donnie Souza, and he is just a fantastic person and just a joy to talk to. And I think it's always great when you consume some kind of media and then you talk to that person and they're like super chill and great. I think that it kind of makes the experience even better knowing that's like, oh, this person, I would share a pizza with this person, and it would be fantastic. And so I recommend, if you are interested in fantasy, or if you're interested in comics, or whatever, if you need a new D&D character that you're kind of just like, kind of needing some inspiration for, I would recommend picking up Untold. And he's actually, right now, this is March of 2020. I think he has a kind of like special going on his website where you can buy like bundles of the comics. Plus, he actually sent me, by the way, this is an aside, but he sent me like a signed copy. He's actually, every physical copy that I have, I've asked him to sign, but he sent me like a specially signed one that has some of the artists in there, and one of them is Chris Anka, who I've been a big fan of for a while. I think he did some X-Men stuff that I really enjoyed, and so having that signature, I was like, this is so cool. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh yeah, on his website you can buy, and I will, go to this link and go there and buy all the things, because I recommend. Yes, support him, please. Two other things that I've enjoyed really quick. I bought, towards the end of 2019, I bought an Anycubic Photon S 3D printer. It's a resin printer, and I've never done any kind of 3D printing before, but I've really enjoyed it so far. It's been a process. I've gotten a lot of failed prints, and I've wasted a lot of resin, but it's pretty cool. Some of the results of the things that have come out have been pretty great, and I'm excited to be able to, because I like painting minis and stuff, and yeah, it's pretty fun. If you're looking for a 3D printer that isn't too expensive, that you can get a lot of really good detail and like fine detail on like intricate things, I would recommend that. It doesn't have the biggest like build area, so you can't do like huge things, but you can, print out pieces. So if you wanted like to make a statue of something, you could print out just the pieces and then assemble it. But super cool. I've been messing around with 3D programs, trying to best learn how to set up files and stuff, but I recommend it. Well, if you're interested in 3D printing, that's not going to be for everyone. But I have found it to be super cool and new. But that's kind of it, I guess, for 2019. I was just going to add, since I'm kind of late on this, I was actually planning on doing this video back in January when it made more sense, but you know what? It just didn't happen. And here we are. But I decided I would go ahead and at least mention I've been playing a bunch of board games recently. Some that I've never played before, even type of games. Never really played many like engine builder type board games that are like super strategic and extremely complicated. But I have been playing some of those, and it's interesting. I've been playing games like Terraforming Mars, which I think is pretty good. I'm not good at those games whatsoever. I'm a better Apex player than I am a good player in these board games. But you know what? I'm there just for I'm not there to win. I'm just there to elevate others and allow them to have a better victory by coronavirus. By letting them win. What was I going to say? I think that sneeze kind of took it out of me. Oh, I've been playing another game called Root, which I love. Not very good at it. Again, have not won. But it's like a war strategy game. I think it might be. No, I don't know if it's technically an engine builder. Is it? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know these things. I don't even know how to win any of them. I've never won any of these games. And then maybe this is just going to be a very shallow observation, but I love the art style of Root. It maybe kind of reminds me of Animal Crossing in a way, but it's like all these little animal factions, and you're trying to... what's nice is that it's like asymmetrical, I think, where each player has their own way to win, completely separate from everyone else. And so it's kind of neat you have to like learn everyone else's strategies. Again, I'm awful at it. I have never won. Don't foresee myself winning, but you know what? It's okay. I'm there to have fun. And sure, there's some board games that I've been wanting to play that I've picked up that maybe I'll get a chance to play at some point, but we'll see. And you know, I guess that's pretty much it. Oh, and I almost forgot. Since my last video, my Patreon patrons have doubled. Unbelievable, I know. So now we have 2 patrons. So one, thank you guys for supporting me. I don't know why you have chosen that, but I appreciate it. So thank you to Michael Fox McLeod and Jess. Last time I had a very unique graphic in order to display your names, and so I have chosen this one. I think I mentioned that if people liked it, I would do another one very similar. And so I have you to blame for this year. But I hope you enjoy it. I hope it's weird. But yeah, so thank you, Michael Fox McLeod, and Jess, for your support. I really appreciate it. I plan on uploading a few more videos, and there should be some here pretty soon. I'm going to be kind of doing some different content than I have before, starting with maybe some, I don't know if I'm going to be doing any live streaming, but I think I'm going to be doing some I'm going to be recording some of my gameplay. So I hope you end up liking it. I don't know if I'll be any good at it, but we're going to see. I think it's just going to be enjoyable for me regardless. So hopefully it'll be fun. But anyway, thanks for tuning in. I hope this has been as relaxing for me as it has been for you. Did I say that right? I hope you have been as relaxed as I have been. I think that's what I mean to say. I don't know. I'm actually getting kind of tired. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. See you later, friends.